Netanyahu has said, I quote him directly, quote, there will be no Palestinian state, end quote. So for those in the West who hope for a two-state solution, a reminder that Israel, the state currently established, one of your dreamt up two states, that state is working tooth and nail to make sure this can never happen. And the Western states know this. It's not like, oh, we thought that state is happy with the other state coming into existence. Oh, my bad. It's not like that. Every time they say they support a two-state solution, it's empty words. But I'm giving the analysis here. I'm explaining why say those empty words then. Because they are words spoken not to actually give the Palestinians their rights, but they are words designed to placate, to calm, to appease the people who are demanding action on Gaza, the citizenry. For example, in Italy and in Germany, the two Western European countries that have not recognized a Palestinian state. My voice completely dipped out there, sorry. But one take. Two countries that have not yet recognized a Palestinian state. There's huge protests because the government hasn't even thrown the citizenry a bone, saying, okay, look, at least we recognize the state. Not even that. The UK, France, Canada, Australia, these countries have at least recognized, Portugal, Spain a while ago even. These countries have recognized at least a Palestinian state in name, if nothing more in action. But the countries that haven't, there's a huge opposition here. Now, the latest news is that on top of the continued engineered crisis in Gaza and the crackdowns in the West Bank, territory that is expected to one day become the heartland of a Palestinian state, now Israel has done something new. The one and only border between the Palestinian territory of the West Bank and Jordan, the border between these two places, a border bridge that Israel doesn't directly control. The only border crossing that Israel doesn't directly control, well, they control it now and it's closed off. Not for an hour or a few days, but indefinitely. Many are asking, is this Israel clamping down further on the West Bank as punishment, collective punishment for several Western nations recognizing a Palestinian state this week? More on that in another video. But no, I believe this is something more sinister at play. Israel closing the only border, the only gates between Jordan and the West Bank is actually something that's part of a far more nefarious set of actions to come by my analytical assessment. It's not actual fact happening now. It's not news. It's my forecasting, like a geopolitical weatherman. And I see dark clouds on the horizon, unfortunately. Israel is working hard to defend itself here, there, everywhere, 300 miles that way, 200 miles that way in a different country. Anyone who so much as sneezes in the wrong direction, Israel might feel the need to defend itself in their house over there. Now, the West Bank is connected to Jordan by the King Hussein Bridge, otherwise known as the Allenby Bridge, because the British occupied these lands once and they started naming stuff after themselves. Now, closing this bridge indefinitely, starting tomorrow, the 24th of September, is likely to heavily impact the lives of the Palestinians living in the West Bank, who are already choked and restricted in their movement through their own lands due to the Israeli occupation. The soldiers, the walls, the checkpoints. Imagine if you had to go from your hometown to the capital of your country. Imagine if I had to go from London to Birmingham and there's like 15 different checkpoints where the French sort of pat me down over and over again and decide if they want that, oh, go wait there for 3 hours, 4 hours. You'd be like, what the flip is going on? Forget me. I'm brown, right? What about an ethnic Brit? They might be like, why are the French here, first of all? And why are they patting me down and checking for security purposes at this checkpoint between London and Birmingham? What are the French doing here? Well, that's basically what's going on in the occupied Palestinian territory of the West Bank. If Palestinians want to travel internationally, not even within their own country, if they want to travel internationally, unless they want to pass through the gates of Israel, they have to go through Jordan. Now, this shutdown prevents that. This shutdown of the bridge means there is no way internationally to travel unless you go through the jaws, if you go through the checkpoints fully controlled by the Israeli state. Now, that was the news and the analysis, but here's the deeper analysis, and if you've not got time, Allah Hafiz, see you on the next one. Here's the analysis. Israel continues to gear up for a round 2 with Iran. That includes trying to suppress or degrade Houthi Yemen, the Lebanese paramilitary in the south of Lebanon, the Palestinians in the West Bank, Palestinians in Gaza, and to keep Syria destabilized so that they don't, try something if chaos breaks out for the Israeli state, and then Syria suddenly has some bright ideas. Ahmed al-Shara suddenly realizes, oh, my military call sign is Al-Jolani, which means Golan, and the Golan Heights need some sovereignty, Syrian liberation, right? Can't have that, so the Israelis are in Syria as well, right? Now, this bridge closer in the West Bank is part of all that, this grand plan to hammer everyone flat so that fighting Iran is easier. Tighten the grasp on the West Bank, make it easier to control the population there, so that while Israel has its eyes or has its fists tussling with the Iranian state, no funny business starts up in the occupied Palestinian territories. Now, from the Israeli perspective, analytically speaking, I completely understand them. I understand why they're doing it. This is them gearing up for their last, potentially desperate attempt at knocking out the queen of the opponent on the chessboard. The queen is the strongest piece for those who don't play chess. And you can go diagonal, it can go straight. Israel can fly over, anyway. The queen is the strongest piece on the board, and on the Middle Eastern board, the queen on that side is Iran. And if Israel can make sure the other pieces cannot pose a threat to Israel when they make their dive, when they make their gambit for the queen, that is something they will very much try to ensure, that the other pieces don't get involved and mess me up. Even a seasoned even a seasoned chess player has their limits. You can have a very powerful piece on the board, but less powerful pieces working together can still achieve a victory. For Israel, they need to take out their adversaries' pieces systematically, ideally, one by one, divide and conquer, isolate. This is why the US, this is why Israel has worked so hard on the divide and conquer. The Lebanese guys, you guys are Phoenician in your heritage. You're completely different from the Arabs, right? The Iranians, the Saudis, two regional powers, you guys are so different. One Sunni, one's Shia. Fight amongst each other. Come on, have some religious battles, right? This is the divide and conquer. Because Israel needs to take the pieces out one by one. They can't have them ganging up on them, right? And time's running out. Shutting the gates to the West Bank is another part of the Israeli strategy, by my assessment, to try and take out more of the pieces. In this case, to make a dive for the biggest piece, which is Iran. Now, for the enemies of Israel on the other side, they have to hold out. They have to exercise restraint. And if push really comes to shove, if they want to try and pull off a win under extreme pressure, they're going to have to work together or risk being knocked out one by one, especially if Israel makes a dive for the queen and knocks her out of the game. Every other piece is going to really struggle to put up a fight if it comes to a fight later down the line. The fate of the Middle East hangs in the balance, and some questionable motive-driven Bangladeshi ethnicity, Muslim by religion, and British by nationality guy in his home box office in London with a suspicious half British, half South African, half Indian, that doesn't even add up to one, accent is going to keep you posted with the news and the analysis, unbiased and without the Western spin. Wow, that was a convoluted one at the end, wasn't it? That was freestyle. Sorry about that. I'll see you guys on the next one.